Human evolution and social evolution. Charles Darwin. Charles Robert Darwin, 12 February 1809 up to 19 April 1882, was an English naturalist, geologist, and biologist, best known for his contribution to the science of evolution. Charles Darwin also, his proposition that all species of life have descended from common ancestors is now widely accepted and considered a fundamental concept in science. That's the reason why he made a book, Charles Darwin Develops the Theory of Evolution. Another achievements for Charles Darwin. In a joint publication with Alfred Russel Wallace, he introduced his scientific theory that the branching of this pattern of evolution resulted from a process that he called natural selection. So, Charles Darwin made a book on the origin of species. Have you ever heard biological evolution? It is the change in inherited traits over successive generations in population of organisms. Adaptation is a key of evolutionary process in which variation in the fitness of traits and species are adjusted by natural selection to become a better suited for survival in specific ecological habitats. That's the reason why they believe that during the time or 1,000 years ago, they have already a dinosaur during the time. Cultural evolution. It is the idea that human cultural change, that is, changes in socially transmitted beliefs, knowledge, customs, skills, attitudes, language, and so on, can be described as a Darwinian evolutionary process that is similar in key respects, but not identical, to biological or genetic evolution. That's the reason why, during that time, they believe they can survive as a Stone Age, and recently, they changed to the Metal Age up to Computer Age. This photo represents a spark the cultural evolution from time to time, from decade to decade, and 1,000 years ago.
More carrots. Don't tear.
Evolution of man. On the origin of species, or more completely, on the origin of species by means of natural selection or the preservation of favored races in the struggle for life, published in 24 November 1859, is a work of scientific literature by Charles Darwin that is considered to be the foundation of evolutionary biology. This is the part of the page of Charles Darwin in his first text of a book. So, this is the title, The Origin of Species by Means of Natural Selection. Human evolution. Human evolution is the evolutionary process within the history of primates that led to emerge of Homo sapiens as a distinct species of the hominid family, which includes the great apes. This process involved the gradual development of traits such as human bipedalism and language, as well as interbreeding with other hominids, which indicate that human evolution was not linear but a web. Human evolution. The genus of Australopithecus evolved in eastern Africa around 4 million years ago, before spreading throughout the continent and eventually becoming extinct 2 million years ago. During this time periods of various forms of astropods
Don't fry,
existed,
don't
including
fry, don't fry.
Australopithecus anamensis, Australopithecus afarensis, Australopithecus sediva, and Australopithecus africanus. This is a part of human evolution. That's the reason why they believe that the human belonged to apes or monkey. Neanderthalensis, a member of a group of archaic humans who emerged at least 200,000 years ago during the Pleistocene epoch in about 2.6 million to 11,700 years ago, and were replaced or assimilated by early modern humans population, which is the Homo sapiens, between 35,000 and perhaps 24,000 years ago. Neanderthals inhabited Eurasia from the Atlantic regions of Europe eastward to Central Asia, from as far north as present-day Belgium, and as far from south as the Mediterranean and Southwest Asia. Homo habilis. It is an extinct species of archaic human from the early Pleistocene in the East and South Africa about 2.3 to 1.65 million years ago. Upon the species description in 1964, Homo habilis was highly contested, with many researchers recommending it as synonymized with Australopithecus as Africanus, the only rather early homonym known at the time. But Homo habilis received more recognition as time went on, and more relevant discoveries were made. By the 1980s, Homo habilis was proposed to have been a human ancestor directly evolving into Homo erectus, which directly led to the modern humans. This photo represents for the Homo habilis and how do they live. They live for hunting and fishing and gathering fruits. Homo erectus. Homo erectus is now one of the better known for our human relatives, with over 40 specimens excavated from Java and many more from sites in China. Sangiran on the island of Java is the most important Homo erectus site in Indonesia. The remains of over 80 individuals have been found here at a number of localities. The region was first occupied about 1.6 million years ago. Homo sapiens, also known as a wise man. This species to which all the modern human beings belong. Homo sapiens is one of the several species grouped into the genus of Homo, but it's not only one that is not extinct. This photo represents of Homo sapiens. They live in a simple life. Sometimes, they also live from hunting, fishing, and gathering fruits. And this time, they also discovered the use of stones for making a fire. Cro-Magnon, a hominid of a tall erect race of the Upper Paleolithic, known for skeletal remains found chiefly in southern France and classified as the same species of Homo sapiens as a present-day humans. So this is the part of Cro-Magnon where they can survive for anything. They live also by hunting, fishing, and gathering fruits. They also use the animal as part of their clothing, and they can also use as bows and arrows for gathering fruits, vegetables, and hunting animals. Peking man. It is a subspecies of Homo erectus which inhabited the Sapodian cave of northern China during the Middle Pleistocene. The first fossils are tooth was discovered in 1926, and the Saguenay has since become the most productive Homo erectus site in the world. This is a pecking man. They live for hunting, fishing, and gathering foods. They also use bows and arrows for gathering foods and hunting animals. And they also use the stone to produce a fire. They also live under the cave of mountain. Lucy, Australopithecus afarensis. It is the common name of AL in the year 288 up to 1 year. Several hundred species of fossilized bone, representing 40% of the skeleton of a female of the hominid species, which is known as Australopithecus afarensis. This was the life of Lucy during million years ago, and that's the reason why they live for hunting, fishing, and gathering foods. They also live under the cave of the mountain, and also they use a stone to produce a fire. Artifacts. What do you mean by artifacts? Have you ever seen a spoon or a fork made a million years ago and different kind of stones used for fire? So, what is an artifact? It is a handmade object as a tool or the remains of one, as a part of pottery, characteristic of an earlier time or cultural stage, especially such as an object found out an archaeological excavation. Where can you find everything in the history of evolution? So, there is a museum. What is museum, by the way? A museum is an institution that cares for a collection of artifacts and other objects of artistic, cultural, historical, or scientific importance. Many public museums make these items available for public viewing through exhibits that may be permanent or temporary. So this is the part of the map of selected hominid fossil sites, where color red is Australopithecus afarensis, light blue is Homo habilis, Homo erectus is color blue, and color white is Homo sapiens or Netherlandensis, and Homo sapiens is color red. Like for example, this is the part of the Poliitics, in part of the Palawan. You have seen the site of color red. It means to say, during million years ago, they lived already a Homo sapiens. While in other countries, like for example, color blue in the part of Persian Gulf, they also live the Homo erectus. And even a part of Africa, mostly, they also live different kinds of hominid fossil sites, which is the Homo habilis, Homo erectus, and then Homo sapiens.